Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. How you all doing? Hope you're all doing great. So today we are going to be making this 3-part corset with a Basque waistline. So here is the pattern paper I'm going to use to draft this out first, okay? And so here I'm going to be making use of what's my desired length. So this is not up to the actual length that I want, but of course when I'm drafting it on my fabric, then I can go ahead and adjust it to my desired length. So the first thing I'm going to do now is to take the vertical measurement. So first thing I'm going to indicate is the yoke. I'm working with a yoke line of 6 inches. So I'm marking 6 inches for the yoke. Then the next is going to be the chest line. I'm marking that at 9. The next is going to be the bust point line. I'm marking that at 11.5. Then the next is going to be the under bust line. I'm marking that at 14.5. Then the waist line, I'm marking that at 17. Then of course the actual length of my top. Okay, now I'll go ahead and repeat this, moving forward again, so I can get a perfect waistline. So there are 3 methods you just have to go through before you can actually achieve this corset. So the first thing we're doing here now is just to draft the basic bodies. That's what we're doing, the first part. Then after that, then we are going to draft the bustier, okay? And of course, then the last will be to create the actual corset. So I'm going ahead to mark my 3 by 8 inches mark now, so I can get my slope. So I'm coming down at 1 inches there. Then I'm marking 3 inches at the edge there, so representing the neck width as well. So I'm going ahead to create my slope now. So like I said, the first thing we're doing here is just to create our basic bodies, okay? There's nothing difficult here right now. So from that slope line now, I'm going to indicate my shoulder width of 16 divided by 2. That's 8. You can see me extending this all the way to the chest line there. So this is going to enable me now create my armhole. So from that slope to the chest line, I'm going to get the midpoint. And what I have there is 8. So divided by 2, I'll have 4 inches. So at that 4 inches point, I'm going to go inwards by 0.5 inches. So this is going to enable me create my armhole. So if you're familiar with creating the basic bodies, you see that this thing is just something we've done several times, right? So I'm just going ahead now to create my front armhole. You can see me using my curve ruler now to create my actual armhole right there. Okay, that's just it. So once I'm done here now, the next thing I'm going to do now is to fixing the neck width of 3 inches. Okay, so we're just assuming there's a yoke here and the neck depth of 3 inches. 3 by 3 inches is actually the right one to use when you want to create a yoke here. Okay, so that's just what I'm doing here. So remember, it's a yoke of 6 inches. That's what we marked there. So in case we're going to draft out a yoke afterwards. Okay, now the next thing I want to do now is to fix in my bust pan measurement. So we're done creating the basic bodice part now. So I'm using a bust pan of 8 inches divided by 2, that is 4. I went ahead to add 0.5 inches, making it 4.5. So you can see me marking 4.5 from that yoke line all the way to the chest line and straight down to the end of my top right there. So you can see I'm marking 4.5. I'm going ahead to draw a straight line now, so you can see this now. So now we want to create our actual bustier. So now I'll come to that bust points. Now I'm going to mark 1 inches above the bust point and also 1 inches below the bust point. 1 inches above the bust point and 1 inches below the bust point. Then I'll come to the under bust there. I'm going to indicate 1 inches on both sides. Okay, so you can see what I'm doing now, indicating 1 inches on both sides of the under bust. Then I'm repeating the same thing on the waistline all the way to the end of the top right there. So you can see this now. So right now, I'll go ahead now and connect all the points. So this is going to give me a straight line, as you can see. So after that now, the next thing I'm going to do is to create my lower cup. So you can see after marking my straight line now, so I'm just going to go ahead and connect these 2 points now under the bust to that 1 inches that is below the bust point. So I'm going to be doing that using my curved ruler. So you can see this now. So automatically now we have just created the lower cup. You can see that's just what we're doing here. So this is the 1 inches below the bust point. So we're going to move up right now at that yoke line. I'm going to indicate 1 inches on both sides again. That's what I'm going to do now. So these 2 points we're creating right now, 1 inches on both sides, we're not going to be connecting it now to that 1 inches what that is above the bust points line, okay? So there's nothing difficult here at all. Don't get confused, okay? So you can see me using my curve ruler to create this. So that's the essence of having that 1 inches mark at the top and at the bottom to help us create our upper cup and our lower cup. So you can see I'm going ahead now to create the curve on both sides. Okay, and this is it, guys. So the curve I have on the other side is not really perfect, so I just went ahead to adjust it properly, and you can see we have what our bustier cup is already in shape right now. So you can see this. All right, so this is the second stage. So the third stage now is for us to now create the actual corset now. Okay, so now we are going to indicate what we call the corset separation. So on that chest line with the yoke line now, I'm going to be marking 0.5 inches all the way to the bust point line. So you can see me indicating 0.5 inches. You can actually do 0.75, or you can even do 1 inches. Okay, so remember this is cut, assuming we're assuming this is on fold. So by the time you open it up, the corset separation is going to be 1 inches. So right now, I just want to indicate the neck depth, okay? So remember the yoke is at 6 inches. So if you want to go down, you can indicate 1 inches or even more, depending on how much of, the cleavage you want to show. So you can create a V-neck shape, or you can also create a sweetheart neckline. So if it's going to be a sweetheart neckline, so you can see I'm using my curve ruler to indicate that. Okay, so you want it to be a sweetheart neckline, or you want it to be a V neckline, then you use your straight ruler. Okay, but I'll end up doing a straight one. So right now, from that point of the bust point, I'm just going to connect the curve to the under bust. So right now, we just created our corset for one part. Okay, so I'm indicating what I have there now, which is 4 inches. I'll go ahead and add 0.5 inches to it, making it 4.5. So I'll mark it now on the other side. So that side is meant to be fuller. Okay, that's why we're adding 0.5 inches. So I'm going ahead now to connect it also to the under bust right there. You can see what I'm using my curve ruler to do that. Then of course, I'll extend it from that bust point upward. Okay, guys, it's as easy as that. You can see we've done, there's nothing extra here. So I'll go ahead and take it from that top now, and of course match it back towards that chest line. So you can see this now. So our corset is ready right now. This is it, guys. It's as easy as that. So the next thing to do now is to create the actual 3-part corset. So now look at what I'm doing now. At that edge now, I'm going to come down by 1.5 inches. See where I'm placing my tape? I'm coming down with 1.5 inches. I'll go to the other side of the corset. I'll also go down by 1.5 inches. So you can actually do 2 inches if you want. Okay, but I'm doing 1.5 inches. Okay, then whatever you get, you have to add 0.5 inches and repeat the same process from the center of the corset there. So you can see right now I'm adding 0.5 inches, which made it 2 inches. So you can see what I'm marking there now is 2 inches. Okay, so assuming I marked 2 inches on the other side, what I'll be marking at that center would have been 2.5. I hope you understand. So just going ahead to connect this point right now, like you see me doing, and you do the same thing on the other side. And that is it, guys. We've just created our 3-part corset. That is it. There's nothing extra here. If you're a little bit confused, trust me, just go over it again. I'm sure you will get it right. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do now is to now fix the body circumference. So on my chest line, the bust measurement is 38 divided by 4. That is 9.5. I'm going ahead to mark that down. Then that dart we have there, that's a dart of about 2 inches. I'll replace it back. Then before adding my extra seam allowance. Okay, then I'll do the same thing on the waistline again. A waistline of about 36 divided by 4, that's 9. Going ahead to also indicate the dart we already have there, because we're going to be cutting out that dart, so we have to replace it back, then plus the extra seam allowance. Okay, yeah, so going ahead now to join everything together, so you can see this right now. We have our sides ready. So to create that back effect now, I'm going to come down from my waistline by 3 inches. Okay, you don't have to do this exactly on the waistline. I'm coming down by 3 inches right there. You can see me extending the waistline downwards by 3 inches. Then I'll go ahead now and create a curve. So from that line, I'm moving out by 1 inches out there. Okay, so this 1 inches, then from there I will now create what, a curve. Okay, so this is like a curvy backs effect. So if you want yours to be straightened, you can also do that. So I'm just trying to recreate what we already have what on the thumbnail. Okay, and mind you, we're done here, guys. We're totally done here. There's nothing extra we're going to do right now than to just go ahead and cut this entire piece. I just go ahead and carefully cut through all these parts. Okay, so we're going to be cutting out the yoke. So if you're going to be attaching a yoke to yours, you definitely work with this, but this one I'm not going to be attaching a yoke to this, so I'm not going to be making what use of this yoke part. Okay, so just concentrating what on the lowest part. Now you can see me going ahead to cut out everything, and of course mind you that we're going to be what, extending this when we're putting it on our fabric. Okay, and very important, label it just like I did now. Very, very important. Make sure you label it. Very, very important, so that you don't mix it all up. So that's part of the 3-part corset. You can see I'll go ahead now and join it back again, because we have taken off that there. And guys, this is it. This is the cup part is ready. The entire piece is ready right now for this front part. Okay, it's as easy as that. So the next thing we're going to do now is to cut out what for the back piece. Okay, so mind, if you're joining this, you're just going to join with like 0.5 inches. You can see the way it is, the way I'm demonstrating. Then you can see that the cup, everything what is going to sit properly. Of course, as you go along, you definitely see the outcome of this. Okay, so setting this aside now, I'm going to be cutting out for my back piece. So don't forget that everything we're doing here, we're doing it on fold. So I'm going to place my front piece, just placing it in such a way that, assuming we have already joined it together, then I'll go ahead and indicate the startup point and also the end points by the side there. That's just all I need. You can see me using my marker to indicate that there. Okay, because the back is just straightforward. It's not going to have any back effect. So I'm just indicating that point. You can see me marking my straight line there. It's as easy as that. Just go ahead and mark the straight line. So this is the top. Then you can now decide to give this a neck depth if you want it to be deeper. Okay, remember I will use a yoke of 6 inches, so you can make yours that. And also remember that this does not have a zipper allowance, because we're going to be attaching a loop. So even at that, I'm still going to take off 2 inches, which is what I'm doing right now. There is no zipper allowance, and yet I'm still going to take off what, another 2 inches. Okay, because we're going to be attaching a loop. Then after that, like I said, I'll go ahead and fix a neck depth. So I'm going down to about 1 inches. I can always adjust it later on if you feel that the neck depth, you want it to be more deeper. So just going ahead to cut this out. So there's nothing extra we did here for the back piece, right? Like I said, it's not going to have that back effect. So what we're interested in, just having the top part, which will match up with the the top of the front, and of course all the way to the end of the front part as well. So that's it, guys. You can see that's our front, the back piece rather. Everything is ready now. All our pattern papers are ready, so you can see how this is looking. And one thing I always like about pattern is the fact that there's always room for adjustment. So you can see me just trying to match up the front and the back by the side. You can see they match up perfectly well. So like I said, you can always make your adjustments. Okay, so what we have here is not definitely how it's totally going to turn out for that front piece. There's still going to be some adjustments, okay, when we'll be doing the sewing part of this. So just going ahead to make sure you label every necessary part so that you don't get it all mixed up. Very, very important for you to take note of that. So that is it, guys. We've come to the end of today's tutorial. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't done that, and also on your notification bell so that you always get alerted for my weekly videos. Thank you so much, guys. See you on the next one. Have a wonderful day, and bye for now.